La 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 la.
Tannic Grips!
Yes! Welcome to another edition of Tannic Grips with myself, Joe Mott, and Britt Tracy of Henry & Son. Today we're going to focus on the incredible grape varietal that is
Grillo.
not Grillo, for those of you that speak Spanish, including myself, and I think of crickets. No, it's Grillo, on the island of Sicily. Why Grillo? You presented it, and I was like, yes, let's do that.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, we were talking about like upcoming videos and like what we wanted to do, and I was like, I don't know why this popped into my head, but I was like, let's talk about Grillo, because it's just like, it's the super cool wine that I was introduced to, and I haven't seen a lot. I was introduced to it in a restaurant that I worked at in 2014, and it was with this wine specifically. Then we're going to get into that, and it's just the super cool, like it has a lot of layers and a ton of complexity, and it can hit a lot of different palates. It can have a lot of tropical fruits. It can have a lot of citrusy, for like more higher tone and minerality. The acid's always present, and I've had super bone dry, like Riesling drinkers like love it, and maybe most people think Riesling can be sweet, but it's dry. But anyways, and then like people who love like an oaky Chardonnay. So it's like this super special wine that I think is just amazing, and it's a super special grape. We've got two here that are incredibly budget friendly, and a lot of us need that in our lives. Actually, all of us need that in our lives.
It's true. I can't tell you, I would be rich if I had 10 cents for every time someone said, can you recommend to me? I usually drink Pinot Grigio.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great stand-in for, I know Britt has recommended it for a lot of different palates. She had mentioned as we were talking before, oaky Chardonnays, Rieslings, even though it's nothing like those, it hits a lot of different pleasure points. And for me, I love to hear you say that, because for me, it's kind of a different realm where I feel like it's just like medium-bodied, so they can get pretty full-bodied. These are both medium-bodied. Like not neutral, but they have this very like Pinot Grigio-esque like ways about them where they go with a lot of different foods. They're really easy to drink. Obviously serve them chilled. A quick history on Grillo, but let's drink some.
Yeah, let's drink.
This first wine is from a producer called Vernaccio, who we'll get to in a moment. But, well, let's just get to it now because we're drinking it.
Yeah.
So Vernaccio is this Brit, not Brit.
I was confused.
A Brit. Yes, from the UK. Was enamored with wine, wanted to make wine in Italy, and he made his way to Tuscany. Made a name for himself, kind of staged there, and then he decided to go to Sicily because there was a lot happening. A lot of land in Sicily isn't that expensive, hence the reason why we can offer these wines at a really good price. Mm-hmm. And so he decided to do, he's working for someone making their wines in a pretty natural vein. So it's a native yeast ferment, all 100% Grillo, stainless steel, about 6 months on the lees, gives it just like this much creaminess. If you can see, it's like millimeters of creaminess. And yeah, he's like, we're in the region of, so if you think of, if this is the island of Sicily, and you have the Marsala region here, we're kind of South Palermo here, if anybody was into The Godfather and all that stuff. We're like down in the southern part of Sicily, and calcareous limestone soils, which keeps things really, really bright because of the limestone. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. God, it's got like a little bit of like bread crust.
Kind of smells like banana bread to me. Ooh. Like, it smells like the peels of bananas, so maybe but I'm getting
what about
the breadiness.
Pecans? Well, pecan?
Yeah, for sure. There's this, like, I think we're, like, talking about a lot of, like, warm-baked spice notes, but it's, like, in this really pleasant, like, light way. It's, like, but, like, the undertone of it is super, like, lemony on the nose for me.
Yeah, for sure. It's, like, got almost like it's bone dry, but almost like this limoncello kind of aspect, like pithy, like all the parts of the lemon, and just like this is $14.99. Quaff it, muse on it, do all the things, have it in the shower. It's like delicious wine.
Yeah, this is a wine that I think like totally quaff away. Delicious, super easy drinking, but it's also like you definitely can think about it, and I think that's what I always come down to. I think that's the most what I think I'm always like really compelled by about wines, and like this is just like, all right, like
Especially for that price point, it's hard to find.
yeah, it is, and it's a real treat.
So a little bit of history about Grillo. Grillo is a grape that they think was a natural crossing of two different grapes on the island of Sicily. And by the late 1800s, it was already extremely prevalent, which means that it was obviously, if there were a lot of acres or hectares dedicated to Grillo, that means that crossing happened a long time before that.
Mm-hmm.
They do think it is a native Sicilian variety or grape, and its main use is was in Marsala production. So you think of the mostly dry but sometimes sweet fortified wine.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was, because it was kind of neutral and pretty and crisp, they decided to forego using Grillo for Marsala, and they used another grape called Catarratto. Then the Chardonnay boom came in the 80s and 90s, and what did they do? Rip up a lot of vines in Sicily, and they planted Chardonnay. Anyway, now Grillo, being a native varietal, is on the rise. People are realizing how delicious it is, like Britt was just saying, with all the lemon curd notes and versatility. And yeah, so just a quick, Grillo is back, people.
I don't know if it ever left. It just was quiet, but
Just
so good. Yeah, so fun.
should we go on to the Occhipinti?
Yes, perfect.
Don't mind if I do.
So, Ariana Occhipinti is a pretty badass lady that's been making wine now for a few years, but she kind of grew up in that world. And this is her, many people might be familiar with like Occhipinti as its own line, but this is her like more budget-friendly line. And so she's got a Nera Diabla under this, and I believe it's Tami is what that's what it's under. And so she's really producing some super fun, very like, again, quaffable wines that are just lovely. And this was wine that I had. It's brought in by Louis Dresner. One day we'll do an importer podcast or video thing, whatever we're calling this. But this is super fun wine, and it's really fresh, and it has been around. And so I've seen it change, and I've tried it, but it's just this was my first introduction to Grillo in 2014.
What it is lovely about this is definitely not like a step up in terms of quality, because they're both very quality driven wines, but it's a different dimension. It's still got the neutral, the lemon, pith, that kind of minerality about it, but it spends about 2 days on the skins. Not technically an orange wine, really, but and then it's fermented in both stainless steel and concrete, which you get a little bit, just the smallest amount, because concrete is porous, so a little bit more oxygenation, which gives a little bit more kind of life to some wines. And it's just a little bit of like a step up in the complexity department is what you're getting here. And delicious wine, just shy of $20, and a joy. The first time I met Ariana Occhipinti, she had a cold, and she was, yet she was still her, very like vibrant self, and she was like, but this is my wine from, and it's like Grillo. And I just remember, whenever I taste this wine, I always think of how someone that had been traveling like weeks supporting their wines, and was, she was like, had this huge head cold, just had so much spunk, and you can taste that in her wines. They always have verve, they always have energy, resilience, which is really beautiful. And she always makes wines with a lower sulfur regimen too, which is cool. What do you think?
Well, the nose is totally different right away from the last one that we drank. And like, for me, it's like got a lot more matchstick, like a little sulfur, and not necessarily in a super like in a faulted way, like which can be, but it's got this like smokiness right away on the nose, like a match just got struck. And so and then you still get again like all that lemon and that minerality like that we were speaking about, and I haven't tasted it yet.
What about peanuts? I feel like it tastes like the shells of peanuts. Don't worry, you're not going to get sick if you have a peanut allergy, but if you miss peanut butter or something, it just has this like very, like if there were wet peanut shells or something like this, or sesame or something like that.
Yeah, like that, like, and it also like the like what it leaves in your mouth, like is like that. It kind of like it coats your mouth, and it's got a really long finish. And both of these actually, well, maybe not really long, but it's like it doesn't go away. It doesn't fall flat. I'm still tasting it, and it's just like Yeah, it's got the salinity to it, and as well, it does have a like kind of a peanutty note to it.
Is it safe to say, so this has got sandy soils versus calcareous soils. Here we're a little bit east in a region called Vitoria. And would you say that this has a smoother palate, even though it has more texture? Like the mid palate is not as like kind of jagged, because calcareous soils add that element of like brilliance and alive and kind of jagged and acidity, and then
Yeah, this is like a little bit more like luxe is the word that comes to mind for me, but there's a velvetyness on the palate that's really, really interesting in how it finishes. Like when Jill's talking about the mid palate, it's like literally like, because you taste immediately and then you taste in the middle and then you taste at the end, and like it's the mid palate. And I think that that's, as well as like how it strikes like the middle of my tongue, literally. It's just like, yeah.
Tannic grip note. There's
I know,
a
there's
tannic
tannic grip.
because of obviously there's a touch of skin contact we mentioned. Like 0.5, I'd go like 0.5, maybe 1. It's like 0.5. It's just
I'd go 1. I can call it a 1.
it's like tickle tickle.
No, it's there. So this wine is like really, this wine can handle quite a bit of like fattier meats or like a fattier fish for sure. And if you're looking to pair it, I mean, both of these wines can handle like fat and like, but the tannic grip of it literally is just like really great with different proteins. And I think that oftentimes white wines get thrown into the world of only,
Showers.
like, showers, white meat, and like, you know, like, oh, you can only have white wine with chicken and like fish. And I'm like, but this could be really cool with like a tartare if you were getting really weird and creative, like a beef tartare. And like,
Did you hear that? That was my stomach rolling.
But yeah, I don't know. I think
To Grillo, and I know. It's like we have 12 minutes to Grillo, to Tannic Grips. Cheers.
Thank you.
To crickets.
La 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 la